To do things at scale that have massive impact in this state of Queensland, you need everyone on board. And believe it or not, a lot of people need coordinating. So having a coordinator like Jared and the Coordinator General's team, you just have to have it.
The thing I love about these sort of projects in a regional area is that, there's an upskilling in it. So, you need engineers, you need people who are more highly skilled than just general farm workers to make this work. And so you bring those people into the regions, and next thing they settle in the regions, they've got their kids going to the school. You're actually upskilling the whole town, which to me is the definition of regional development.
We learned something really important from the OCG team, rhythm. They get a very good rhythm going, and if you stick with that rhythm, whether it's the meetings or the functions, but as the proponent, they're your partner. They're not going to do all the work for you, but they're a great partner.